Bitcoin, the groundbreaking digital currency that began as a mere curiosity, surges to an astonishing $10 million per coin, a valuation that could reshape the very concept of wealth. Is this a far-fetched fantasy or a plausible future waiting to unfold? Bitcoin came into the world stage in 2009, created by the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto. It's a decentralized digital currency running on a peer-to-peer network without banks or governments calling the shots. As of April 2025, it's sitting at around $82,000 per coin with a market cap of about $1.6 trillion. That's already a huge leap from its early days, showing how much it caught on with people, companies, and even some countries. But $10 million? That's a 122-fold jump from where we are now. It's a stretch, no doubt, but there are some fascinating factors that can make it possible. Bitcoin's history is a story of wild growth. It started at practically zero. Think about those two pizzas brought for 10,000 Bitcoins in 2010, which would be worth hundreds of millions today. We've seen these amazing surges in 2013, 2017, and 2021, each time smashing through to new highs. It's been a bumpy ride, but that pattern of climbing higher, driven by growing interest and a limited supply, shows what Bitcoin's capable of. Could it keep that momentum going for an even grander scale? Adoption is a massive part of this. More people are jumping in every year. The 2025 cryptocurrency adoption and consumer sentiment report tells us that about 28% of American adults, around 65 million people, own crypto now, nearly double what it was a few years back. But it's not just individuals either. Companies like MicroStrategy and Tesla are stashing Bitcoin on their balance sheets. And Bitcoin ETFs launched in 2024 have made it easier for regular investors to join in. And on the global front, El Salvador's move to make Bitcoin legal tender in 2021 was a game changer, and other nations are starting to take notice. This wave of acceptance could be a huge driver for Bitcoin's value. Technology is another piece of the puzzle. Bitcoin's not standing still, it's improving. The Lightning Network, for instance, is a second-layer system that builds up transactions and slashing costs. That can make Bitcoin something you'd actually use every day. Think of buying a coffee or sending money across the world in a flash. As it gets more practical, demand could sour, and experts are pointing to this as a potential turning point. Central banks have been printing money like there's no tomorrow, trillions of dollars, especially since the pandemic. That's got people nervous about inflation and their cash losing value. Bitcoin, capped at 21 million coins, is the opposite. It's scarce by design. Some call it digital gold because of that. With the global money supply hitting an estimated $107 trillion by early 2025, Bitcoin's fixed supply could make it a lifeline for anyone looking to shield their wealth. Fiat companies like the US dollar have no bottom. They will continue to lose value for their whole existence. That means that capped unchangeable assets like Bitcoin have no top. With each year's inflation, the cryptocurrency should grow in value. This process, although slow, will undoubtedly push Bitcoin to ever-increasing peaks. That scarcity gets even more interesting with Bitcoin's halving events, which happen about every 4 years. The latest one in 2024 dropped the mining reward to 3.125 BTC per block. These halvings slow the flow of new coins, and history shows they've often sparked big price jumps as demand outpaces supply. But there's another twist. Over time, more Bitcoins get lost forever. Think forgotten passwords or wallet keys getting lost in house fires. Some estimates say up to 20% of the total supply are gone already, and this number can go even higher when Michael Saylor holds his promise and destroys the key to his 260,000 Bitcoin after his death.
I believe in Satoshi and his vision, sovereignty, property rights, freedom, economic empowerment, economic immortality. I believe nobody should be able to steal your money. I believe you should get to keep it. And so if I believe that and I burn those keys, then I have made everybody in the network that much richer and more powerful forever.
That shrinks the actual number of coins out there, making each one even rarer and potentially driving the price up further. Bitcoin often gets compared to gold, and it's a solid analogy. Gold's market cap is around $10 trillion, while Bitcoin is around $1.6 trillion. If Bitcoin matched gold, Each coin would hit around $476,000. But here's why it gets exciting. Some argue Bitcoin could leap past gold because it's easier to move, verify, and can never increase its supply. Add in those lost coins, reducing the supply, and that could give an extra boost. Let's do some calculations to see what Bitcoin needs to achieve for a $10 million a coin valuation. There are 21 million Bitcoins in existence. If we take into account that, over the next few decades, thousands of people would eventually lose access to their Bitcoin stack. Due to its lost and destroyed keys, this number will shrink greatly. The longer Bitcoin exists, the higher the percentage of people that will lose their seed phrase. This number will go up forever, making Bitcoin rarer and rarer. Nowadays, over 3.7 million Bitcoins are already lost forever, making up about 20% of the total supply. If we take a conservative estimate of 25% of the supply being lost over the next decade, we will have 15.75 million Bitcoin left. 10 million times 15.750 million equals 157.5 trillion. This would mean that Bitcoin would need to hit a market cap of 157.5 trillion to achieve 10 million per coin. That is similar to the global bond market of 140 trillion and a bit more than the 115 trillion of the stock market. With total global wealth at approximately 500 trillion, that would mean that Bitcoin needs to capture 31.5% of the pie. Although this seems unrealistic, we have to take into account that the $10 million Bitcoin is said to be possible in the next few decades. If we check the predicted growth of total global wealth within 20 years, we see that by 2025 it will reach approximately 1.6 quadrillion. If Bitcoin is valued at 157 trillion here, it would only need 9.81% of the world's money to get to $10 million a coin, which is doable for the world's best performing asset. The hope is that Bitcoin will serve as a digital real estate for the majority of the planet. People in non-Western countries like China, which are not allowed to own real estate or buy Western stocks, can instead own Bitcoin. Whole regions in Africa, which have very few trustworthy good performing assets, could invest the majority of their money into digital cyberspace. Why keep wealth locked up in an inflationary African currency when you can keep it in Bitcoin? But it's not all rosy. There are real challenges. Governments could hit it with tough regulations, slowing the momentum. Tech glitches or competition from other cryptos like Ethereum could trip it up. It's a high stakes bet with a lot of unknowns. So, where does that leave us? Bitcoin at $10 million is a long shot, but it's not fantasy. Adoption's on the rise, technology's improving, and economic pressures are aligning. A global takeover like hyper-Bitcoinization could seal the deal, but it will likely take decades and some major upheaval in how money works. It's an idea worth pondering though, something to watch closely. If you're thinking of jumping in, just be sure to do your homework and weigh the risks.